Morning, beautiful people. How y'all doing? I said, how y'all doing? Please give yourselves a hand, educators. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much for what you do. I am so very excited to be in front of you today because I love educators. I really do. And in fact, I grew up pretty similar to Mr.
Jordan.
Coach Jordan. I'm sorry. Some call him Dean, some call him Mr. Jordan, I call him Coach Jordan. But I grew up in Clewiston, Florida in a single parent household. My mom made $242 every 2 weeks working as a crossing guard at my bus stop. And she did a great job of encouraging me, showing me love before I got on the bus every day. But once I got on that bus and once I went to school, someone else was responsible for me, and she trusted them to do their job and to do it well. I am today, growing up in that household in the projects with rats and roaches in my home, no AC, things like that. I came from there to here, being an attorney, motivational speaker, business owner. Some may recognize my name as a candidate for Brevard County Sheriff in 2020 as well. But I came from there to here in part because of the great work that some educators did in my life. I'll tell you about three educators that changed my life. The first that I can recall impacted me was in the second grade. A teacher by the name of Miss Anderson. I'm 32 years old as of Thursday last week, but I still remember her name, my second grade teacher, Miss Anderson, because of what she did for me. When I was in the second grade, I remember coming home from school one day, and my mom was in the hall, and she had a somewhat menacing look on her face. It concerned me. And she had a letter in her hand, and she said, "I got a letter from your school, Alton." And the letter had good news written all over the letter, and I was still deathly afraid. I believed that my life might end that day, even though I was looking at my mom holding a letter from the school that had good news written all over the letter. That is how well my mom did to put the fear of God in me back then. My mom opened this letter from Miss Anderson. She read it to me. And in so many words, Miss Anderson said that Alton is performing really well. You should probably get him tested for gifted. I think he could be a genius. I didn't get tested for gifted, and I am not a rocket scientist. However, those words, that good news that I received in the second grade from Miss Anderson, led me to believe that maybe I was capable of being successful outside of sports. Maybe I was capable of being successful outside of a hip-hop or rap career or a singing career. Maybe there was some unconventional method by which I could achieve success as a poor kid raised by a single mother in the projects. That was the first time. The second time that I remember being deeply impacted by an educator was not so positive an experience. It was in the 10th grade. And it was by a guidance counselor. I remember going to this guidance counselor's office. I don't know if they still do it, but back then when I was in high school, the guidance counselors would take all of the 10th graders and they would have them complete some sort of aptitude test. And when you completed that test, it would basically tell you what you might be good at doing for a living, what you might fit into, what career field you might want to think about. When I took that aptitude test, by the end of it, the result that I received was that I worked well with my hands, that maybe I should be an AC repair person or refrigerator mechanic. Nothing wrong with someone that wants to work hard for an earnest living, but I knew since I was 5 years old that I wanted to be an attorney. After I took this aptitude test and after she showed me my results, she asked me then, "What do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up?" I said, "I want to be a lawyer." And I said it proud and loud. She said, "Do you have straight A's?" I said, "No, ma'am, I have all A's and 1 B. She looked at me and she said, "You'll never be a lawyer." I'll remember that for the rest of my life, what Miss Belton said to me when I was in the 10th grade. Because when she told me those words, it hurt me, It upset me, but it deeply motivated me. And I decided that Miss Belton can go to hell and I'll be an attorney one day anyway. And thank you so much. Thank you. And so I set myself on a path from then on. My freshman year I had some struggles, but by then I was doing okay. But from the time that I spoke with Miss Belton in the 10th grade, I made 1 C on a report card for the rest of my high school career. From the time that Miss Belton told me that I would never be a lawyer, I made no more than 1 B on my report cards for the rest of my high school career, and every other grade was an A. I graduated in the top 10% of my class, and I went to college at the University of Florida. Go Gators. I like that. I see some Gator chumps in the crowd. I like that. And then there was one more. There was one more that happened in the same year when I was a 10th grader. An educator said something to me that changed my life. At that time, I was battling with depression, low self-esteem, and I reached a point in my life so low that I wanted to kill myself. I thought that I was worthless, that I was useless. Because growing up without my father in my home, I began to feel as if I was not worthy of love because the person that was supposed to love me the most didn't, or didn't appear to. And so it was a struggling time for me. I remember walking around with my head down, looking at the ground, having absolutely no confidence or self-esteem. And there was a wrestling coach by the name of Jess Alford. Never forget his name, as long as I live. In fact, on Father's Day, and when something good happens for me, I'll send a message to his wife on Facebook, because he's not on Facebook, he's a little old school. I'll send a message to his wife on Facebook, just asking her to forward the message to thank him for his impact on my life. Just asking her to forward the message to thank him for what he's done to help me to be who I am and where I am today. I remember one day, my wrestling coach, as I was walking from the weight room to the gym, he saw me looking down at the ground and he said a few simple words to me. He said, "Listen, from now on I want you to walk like a man. I want you to stick your chest up. I want you to make your back straight. I want you to lift your chin up. Walk with confidence. Walk as if you're somebody." From that day forward, I began to fake the funk a little bit. I began to walk with my chin up. I began to walk with my back straight. I began to walk with my chest out until I began to believe that maybe I was somebody, until I began to believe that maybe I could be somebody, until I began to believe that maybe life wasn't as bad as I thought it was. He helped to put me on a path of self-belief and personal growth. And I'm thankful today, at 32 years old, I'm a motivational speaker and I've spoken to thousands of young people around the United States, mostly here in Brevard County, about achieving their dreams, about accomplishing their goals, and about pushing past adversity. Listen, the impact that you have an opportunity to make on young people is one that they can remember for the rest of their lives. I know that some of you may be in these very seats because someone impacted you in such a way, but I'm thankful for the opportunity to share with you the impact that wonderful educators have made in my life. Please don't be discouraged, because I know it gets hard. Please don't give up, because I know that sometimes it gets rough and you might be wanting to look to do something else. Please remember the great impact that you made. Please remember that there are lives that you are changing. And I want to thank you, educators, for changing mine. Thank you. God bless.